Stop crying. Stop being soft. Show no signs of weakness. There is no weakness within you as a man. Be tough. Be violent. Show no mercy for the weak. A lot of us are told that as young boys, as young men, and growing up, a lot of men are told, men don't cry. I'm going to tell you a story about one of my homeboys. As a child, he grew up with a single mother, and what happened was his mom would have men in and out of his life. And typically what happens is she would have the men and they would be pretty abusive, pretty violent. So that guy a lot of times would abuse that boy. And growing up, he was a young boy like 7, 8, 9, and he would start crying. And his mom told him, don't cry, stop crying. You can't be weak, you gotta be tough, you gotta be strong. So he was told, men don't cry. Later on, that guy grew up, became a violent man, joined the gang, and, ended up going down a wicked path. And now he's basically in jail. And a lot of us are told that men don't cry and men can't show no sign of weakness. And I want to talk about this topic because I know as men, especially masculine men, we can go on one side and one side only and stay on that side that you got to be strong, you got to be tough, you can't cry, you can never show no signs of weakness. And I think that for a lot of men is not the right approach, it's the wrong approach, because we have to understand collectively, and I'm coming to this realization as I grow older and I'm starting to see basically how men operate, and I'm talking to more guys, I'm talking to more men. Everybody learns differently. So one approach for you might not be effective, while another approach for another person might be more effective. And I think that's important for us as leaders to understand that, especially if you're trying to go out into this world and make change and initiate change. Being a leader, you have to understand that not everybody will be where you're at, and you have to take a different approach, especially if you want to resonate with them truly and get them to basically change. So if I come around you and you show a little bit of signs of softness and you're crying because you're going through a difficult time, and I shame you because of that, that might make you revert back to in a little shell, and you're going to go back to that painful time when you're a little boy. You're not getting over that painful time. And I'm not understanding that you have this trauma. That's why you're crying. For a lot of us, bro, we need to understand that God specifically designed us for this way. I think this is a way for a lot of men to release some type of stress. Now, I do want to state that a lot of times people cry because they just been strong for too long, man. They put the weight on the world, and this energy needs to be released one way. And most guys, they don't know how to release it. So they'll either run to drugs, they'll run to alcohol, and that's the main way for a lot of us. A lot of us don't go to gym. A lot of us don't have a positive brotherhood. A lot of us don't know how to channel this, so they don't know what to do. So they're not truly crying. They're not verbalizing because they're told in the program that you can't cry. And I want to get this out there. I'm not saying that even me specifically, I haven't cried in a while. I'm going to be honest, bro. I haven't truly bawled my eyes out crying. And I think that it's okay. Some of us, we're built that way. Some of us, we're not really meant to just we're the guys that people come to us and they cry and we build them up. A lot of us, and I'm realizing this as we get older, some men are just stronger than other men. And that doesn't mean that I'm better than you, that I'm, in a better place mentally all the time, because I can get to that point. I just can't cry. I might go to the gym. I might see that, that's not going to solve anything right now. And that just might be my approach. But I don't think that approach is better than anybody's approach. Now, I do want to say that I don't think, me specifically, and this is what a lot of people, especially in the manosphere, they talk about this, that you shouldn't be vulnerable and you shouldn't cry in front of women. And I will say that me specifically, I think that is personally true. I would love to hear your take on this. If you want to leave put some comments down below. I don't think that women can understand male struggles, and I will stand on that. I don't think they understand. They can't relate. They show no empathy. They show no sympathy. So sitting here and just crying in front of her, I think she will see you as being a weak man. And I think the moment she sees that, she no longer can get attracted to you. She no longer can get aroused by you. And that's one of the RP truths that I will stand on, me specifically. I do find that to be true. But I think if you can get a brotherhood, like I've had it in my personal life specifically to where they won't do it in front of the woman, but they'll call another man that can relate and be like, hey, bro, this is what I'm going through. I know you've been through this experience, and you start crying like, man, and you're being vulnerable. And that's what I'm saying. Having a brotherhood, having a community, having As Men Are Needed, where we talk about different topics, where we allow you to be the person that God created you to be. It's important for you to have a brotherhood or just one or two guys that you can truly open up and be like, this is what I'm going through. And if you have to show some weakness with him, because he can build you back up, because he can relate to you. He can understand your struggle. He can understand your journey, man. You know what I mean? Even me specifically, I remember there was times where I got close, if I'm going to be honest with you, especially when I was going through troubles with, my mom. She had got cancer. So anybody, when you see your mom's going to pass away and things like that, it's going to hurt you, bro. You're going to start going through this grieving process, and you're going to shed some tears, man. It's natural. That's why God created them. And it's not that we're weak. It's just that energy has to come out, Even thugs cry. That's the truth. And, I'm not saying I'm a thug or anything like that, but the hardest people out are going to cry eventually. I remember when I was growing up, bro, and you probably can relate to this. There was people that were like, when I was like in 6th grade, I remember specifically, bro, there was people that would get picked on, right? And they would get so angry. They would get so mad, they would start crying. You ever been around those people? You ever see those people? They're not truly sad. They're just so angry. They just start crying. You ever seen that? Man, I've seen it so much when I was growing up, 16, 17, even when I got to high school. They would get so mad. They just want to start crying. So that shows you that it's just energy that needs to be released. And I think that it's important for us as men to just talk about this, man. Go into these deep, difficult topics and allow yourself to be free. Free your mind, free your spirit, and be vulnerable with yourself. At least if you go into like maybe your car, your quiet sanctuary where it's just you and nobody's going to judge you. If you got to cry, brother, you got to cry, because too many of us are told true masculine men don't do that. It's weak. You're soft, bro. And you can't be like that. Don't tighten up, toughen up. And there's a time and a place for that. I will say some men are like that, bro. I will say, me specifically, I err on that. I'm on that side of the spectrum where for the most time, me specifically, I'm like, yo, you acting soft right now. You got to tighten up. Man up, bro. That's my approach. That I am like that, bro. And I think some men, they're not like that. I've been around some men where that approach, it just made him worse. It made him want to cry, and it made him want to cry more. And then he just got more weak. And you could say that he's a weak man or whatever, but I don't think that that's truly the case. I think he's just, when I started exploring more, he was just at a young age, he was just abused. So he's still in that little boy syndrome. He still has that hurt little boy on the inside that he never healed from. And this is the truth, man. The majority of men are like that. They've never been around a masculine man, so they don't truly understand what it's like to be around somebody that's like, you don't have to really cry. You don't have to sit there and bawl your eyes out, bro. Come over here. Let me show you how it's done. A lot of us just need to be led, and you don't understand because you've never been around anything like that. So how could you truly know how you're supposed to act? That's why so many of us are emotional. We've never been told, look, man, you got to channel this energy in a different way. You got to self-improve. You got to go to the gym. There's masculine ways to handle this. We're not told this, bro. We're just shamed. We're told you're weak. You're told you're soft. Or you turn extremely violent. You turn into these gangs all because you're a hurt little boy. You never cry. You never got this energy out. Or you run to these drugs. You get an extreme amount of depression. You turn into alcoholic because you've never got this energy out. Energy has to get out, bro, one way or another. You can't just keep all of this in, all this trauma. There's a reason why a lot of people go to therapy and they get healed, or they go to God. You have to turn to God. A lot of us will turn to God. And I've seen it. When you see people turn to God, bro, and they truly have like an awakening, they'll start bawling their eyes out. You ever go to like church or just seeing people to where they got the Holy Spirit and they're just crying and crying and crying because they feel the love of God and that energy is released? I know you've seen that before, bro. I know if you especially grew up in the church, or you grew up around people that are real religious and they have God within them, they'll bawl their eyes out crying because they feel the Spirit. So I think Women understand this, and we can say that women are emotional, women are tapped in with their spiritual side more than us, and that's true. But I think too many men, their mindsets are off, man. I see it specifically when I talk to them, because he was told men don't cry. So I think it's important for us to have the discussion. I would love to hear some of your comments. I would love to see what type of learning style you have, if you can leave it down below, and just how you are, bro. And I think if you're a man, try not to do so much to judge these people, bro, because you want to judge how this man is. Man, you weak, bro, you crying, don't do that. But I think collectively we need to have more compassion, because men, we're the only ones that can relate to the struggle. Women can't come in these comments and leave a comment and relate to what we're talking about, because they cry and they're okay to be crying. They're okay to show that weakness. They're okay because we're supposed to be strong. We're supposed to be tough. We're supposed to be an emotional rock. And I know for a fact that's taking a toll on a lot of people's spirit. A lot of men in general, their spirit is slowly dwindling, slowly breaking, because they can't handle it no more. And a lot of men have done it. I've known men in my specific life. I'm speaking from personal experience, bro. I'm not just speaking shit just because this is a good topic to talk about. This is real life, bro. I've seen it in my life where brothers have opened up. They're tough guys, but then they're crying, bro, because they can't handle it. Like, sometimes it's just too much pressure. It's too much. It's the weight of the world. This world's coming against you. This woman wants you to be tough. You're going to these jobs. These jobs are trying to break your spirit. The devil's constantly tormenting your mind. The devil's constantly telling you lies. The devil's constantly deceiving you. And you're like, man, I can't handle it no more. So you got to release this energy one way or another. Sometimes you can drop down and do 50, 60 push-ups, and that might help you. But eventually, when you're slowly about to go to sleep, or when you're by yourself driving, a lot of us will try to drown out that noise with loud music, with just loud things, what I'm saying, TVs or whatever, because you can't stay silent, because that moment you start staying silent, devil's going to torment you, and all these demonic thoughts are going to come in. You're going to want to cry. But I think it's important for us to go into this void and sit with this energy and just understand what God's trying to tell us in this moment. Why do we want to break down? Why do we want to cry? What's driving us? What past trauma is being brought back in our mindset? What do we need to heal from? What do we need to work on? What can we work on? And try to do it, bro. Just don't keep running, man. Too many of us just run, and we try to escape everything. You can't escape it, man. One way or another, it's going to catch up to you. So I want you to do your work. I want you to heal. I want you to truly hear me, bro. I need you to heal so collectively we as men can inspire one another. The only point that I'm at specifically is, like, you got to think, for me to get to this stage to where I can even talk about these topics, I'm confident and I'm comfortable with the man that I've become. And the only reason for that is because I've done enough healing in my life to get to this point to where I can verbalize how I'm feeling and the thoughts that are going through my mind and the actions that I have and the masculinity that I have, and still be able to convey the message to you. And I don't care if there's some people that come here and say, bro, men aren't supposed to cry. That's weak. That's soft, bro. Nah, don't do that. Because a lot of this, like I said, is just programming, and you don't understand how some men are. You're not understanding that some men have different approaches. Not every man understand the fact that they got to be tough 100%, because a lot of men, they're just not built like that, man. Everybody is built different. I know that for a fact. I'm seeing it, bro. Some men are just built different. Some men are those elite guys that are at the top that can channel this dark side, that can go into villain mode, that can truly go there mentally and never break and never crack. But that's the select few, bro. We're talking about a minority of men. That's not the majority. So we got to speak about what happens with the majority of men. And the majority of men, this is their learning style. The majority of men, it's okay to be vulnerable with another brother. It's okay to have a brotherhood and be like, look, bro, I'm going through this difficult time. I just need to release this energy. I just need to have somebody to talk to, bro. I don't want to be weak in front of my girl. I don't want to cry and just literally bawl my eyes out and break down in front of her. So it's all right if you got 10 minutes and you just allow me to vent. You just need to vent, bro. Get that energy out. He gonna build you back up, let you know, yeah, bro, we all go through that. I'm here for you, brother. It's a struggle. Life is hard. It's not easy. It's difficult. Men go through so much pain, so much suffering, but I'm here for you. I got your back. Don't worry. You're not alone in this journey. And I want you to know, if you're watching my video right now, you're not alone. So many of us can relate to it. So many of us are battling quietly. And I think we need to get this message out more. You don't have to fight alone. Men are needed. Men are needed is the movement, and we're here. This is a community for us. This is a brotherhood for us. I want us to continue tonight. I want us to continue to grow, evolve, heal, and just expand our consciousness as men. Tap back in with God, get in tune with Spirit, listen to the Spirit, and try your best to do the right thing in a world that doesn't reward you for doing the right thing. A world that tries to break your spirit. This is spiritual warfare. It's not going to be something to where we go out, we cry, and we'll never cry again. We get rid of this energy. It's never going to, bro, it's going to happen continually because you're going to constantly be tested. It's a battle. Every day we're on this earth is just a battle. Day in, day out, because it's spiritual warfare. We can't get rid of this, bro. It's not something that just goes away. Trust me, I know from facts. There's moments where you might be happy. You're going to have some happiness. But then there's going to be moments where you're truly sad, you're truly down, you're truly depressed, you're anxious, you're discouraged, you have fear. That's just the duality of this world. There's light and there's dark, and there's God and there's the devil. There's positivity and there's negativity. It's just the duality, bro. So we have to embrace it. But I want you to be a brother that allows each other to see the growth. So like I said, I would love to hear some of your thoughts. Put them down below. Thanks for watching this video. Peace.